lights, I've been with midnight through the city. I've been going through.
Oh man, I messed up the intro. Hold on. We gonna bring it back. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Yeah. Cause he wanna light. Headlights, I've been with midnight through the city. I've been going through some things, trying to get my mind right. Push the bucket to the lip, push that mission to the finish. Gotta get the full control, gotta get my mind right. Headlights, I've been with midnight through the city. I've been going through some things, trying to get my mind right. Push the bucket to the lip, push that mission to the finish. Gotta get the full control, gotta get my mind right. Yeah, flashing on these high beams, she won't stay beside me, even if I'm blinded.
What's going on, everybody? Hey, put ones in the chat if you can hear me nice, loud, and clear. Let me know. Put the ones in the chat. But sometimes when things is fire, and you know, my dude Casey Waters, he did his thing on that intro song, Get Your Mind Right. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta play it back. Y'all know how DJs at the party, when something fire, they just play the song back or whatever. They play it back. Man, I'm about to play the intro back again, man. I know that a lot of people love that song. My guy Casey Waters, man, it's on all platforms, Spotify, iTunes, all that. One of my best friends growing up. So we're gonna play that again, and then we're gonna get started, man. Look, y'all ain't showing the love y'all supposed to show to this, man. So we about to play it again.
Yeah. Cause he wanna light. Headlights, I've been with midnight through the city. I've been going through some things, trying to get my mind right. Push the bucket to the lip, push that mission to the finish. Gotta get the full control, gotta get my mind right. Headlights, I've been with midnight through the city. I've been going through some things, trying to get my mind right. Push the bucket to the lip, push that mission to the finish. Gotta get the full control, gotta get my mind right. Yeah, flashing on these high beams, she won't stay beside me, even if I'm blinded.
What's going on, everybody? We got to have some great energy on Sunday, especially since our Cowboys did their thing on Friday night, even though it was preseason. Yeah, hey, Lord Nova, man. For y'all that know, man, that's actual real DMV music. And I had somebody ask me on Twitter earlier, like, I'm just asking, like, it says DMV Fanatic, but why are you repping the Cowboys? I'm just asking the question. A lot of people don't know real DMV, right? So I'm going to lay down some rules of the DMV for my real DMV people. For the real people that know about DC, Maryland, Virginia, we're so close together. We're so tight knit. I would say it goes all the way up to, I don't know how far it goes up to Maryland. I just know that Baltimore is not part of the DMV, y'all. No matter how we try and slice it, Baltimore is Baltimore. Baltimore is not Maryland. You know, Baltimore is its own entity. They probably should secede from the whole United States. Baltimore is Baltimore. And then I think it goes all the way down to maybe Richmond, I think. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of the rule of thumb. Like, it's Northern Virginia all the way up to a certain part in Maryland, maybe like PG or something like that. So, yeah, man. Lord Nova said, I'm from Philly and rep the Cowboys. And another rule of thumb for the DMV, man, is that half of the DMV is split. And it's like when we go to FedEx or whatever the hell their stadium, whatever that dump is called right now, whenever we go there, we shut it down. For the people that know, we shut it down. What's going on? Hallelujah. What's up? Let me put y'all comments up, man. So I'm gonna say hello to Lord Nova, Kelvin Hicks, David Jenkins. Y'all were here in attendance early. JVB boy, my guy. What's going on? Juan Cooper, what's going on? Good brother. What's up? DC Boys Fan 5. What's up? How you doing? And so just to let y'all know that it's live on Instagram as well. And if you're watching on Instagram too, if you want your comments, and you know, I really only typically talk to the comments that are on YouTube. So if you tune into YouTube, YouTube helps the algorithm a lot more. You know what I'm saying? YouTube probably has the best pay plan that there is out there for the content creators. So, you know what I'm saying? If you want to show some love and want to get back to Instagram, come over to YouTube, click the like button. That'll help a lot. Click the like button, say a comment, say hello. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe in not saying hello to the people that say hello to me. B Fatty said Shador looked ass. I hadn't really looked at it yet. He probably did because I hadn't. I know that Dylan Gabriel went in there for the time that I was watching and he looked good. So I think he probably solidified himself higher up in the depth chart than Shador, and I don't have a problem with that. I like Dylan Gabriel in the process, and if he's playing well, if he's playing better, then that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? I still believe Shador is an NFL quarterback, and if he got released, I would love him on my team. You know what I'm saying? I think he's better than Joe Milton, but that's neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying? That's neither here nor there. We're not here to talk about Shador though. You know what I'm saying? We're here to talk about the Cowboys, and then anything after that is cool. But B Fatty, I appreciate you for saying those comments though, because I'm high on Shador. I like Shador a lot, and you know what I'm saying. I was the one who applauded probably the loudest when he did well against the Panthers. So what's going on? Talk your talk media. How you doing? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? All right, so let's switch gears. We're gonna go to Schotty's press conference after. We're gonna go to his press conference after and listen to some of his stuff. I have not heard the whole thing, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. We're gonna react to it. Y'all know what it is, man. I kind of want to keep this up. I want to be able to react to certain press conferences. This is my way of engaging with you as the fan. Also, me being a fan and engaging like a fan. I know that I have a lot of football acumen and stuff like that as far as coaching, as far as playing. But at the same time, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. This is a fan run account. Just somebody with a lot of football knowledge, and I'm gonna try and bring things together for everybody if I can. So we're gonna play it. And let me know if you guys can hear it loud and clear.
Calvin? Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Is it safe to say that this is one of your best performances of the preseason?
I was pleased with the way we played. I think played physical, I thought, throughout most of the night. I thought that goal line stand at the end was awesome. So
yeah,
excited
they played with a lot of energy.
Some guys jumped out
energy
on that drive. Justin Barron was awesome. Elijah Clark did some good things. Again, you guys know, I've said it all along. Nothing changes. This is about evaluation. I thought we started really fast. I thought that was great to see. And but again, the biggest thing for us is
hold on. Nah. We ain't gonna do this. Hold. It is definitely not insane, bro. Did y'all watch Joe Milton the first 2 preseason games? Nah, bro. Nah. Shador could at least hit wide open people, bro. Like, we going off the high what happened Friday, and I get you. But nah. I watched Joe Milton them first 2 preseason games, and while I didn't want to get too down on him because of play calling, I know Shador can hit a wide open Flournoy where there's nobody around him. I do know that much. Ain't no damn trolling. Oh yeah, JVB boy, he must be trolling because ain't no way, dog. All them wide open receivers that Shador couldn't hit no wide open receiver. Yeah, we hell nah, bro, nah. And some of that stuff was clean pockets too. Like, yeah, we gonna keep it one thing we're gonna do on this channel is we gonna keep it 100. We gonna keep it a buck. I had to stop on that. Like, yeah. Nah. We is not gonna do that. Everybody in here, even him, y'all know that Shador better than Joe Milton right now. And Shador has played a lot more football than Joe Milton has too. So that's not one thing we gonna do. We ain't gonna sit here and we ain't gonna lie. We ain't gonna lie. Like, it was so bad. Joe Milton in them 2 preseason games, everybody was dogging him. And I was trying to keep a level head about it because I know that he needs a lot of football experience. But I think that even against the Panthers, 4th stringers or whatever the hell you want to say, I saw a lot more from Shador than I saw from Joe Milton. hell, Joe Milton on Friday really played the way he did because of how the game was called. So yeah, I got to keep that a buck. All right, so let me get back to Schotty though.
I think we had some guys show how much they want to be here, and they fought for it. And the film will tell us a little bit more tomorrow. But very competitive, very physical. Certainly things to clean up, like in any game, the penalties and things like that. But overall, I'm pleased with the performance and the fact that these guys got a victory.
Your thoughts on how
also a
Milton
least
played
opponent, like
I thought he did a nice job. I think got off to a good start. He was having fun. He used his legs. That's something you guys probably saw in the scrimmage over the last couple of days back in Frisco. He was using his legs a little bit more. That was great to see. Beautiful throw to JB on the go ball.
I thought they dialed it back a little bit for him, which I think they should have
settled tonight.
Clarence Hill, Dallas Cowboys. Can you give us an update on Jaden Blue? Number one, is he health, and talk about his performance tonight?
Yeah, again, I think we'll take a look.
I said a tweet Friday night, and I stand by it today. I think that Phil Maffa, and they'll probably talk about Phil Maffa. Like I said, I hadn't watched this, so I'm reacting just like this is the first time that I've seen it. Phil Maffa, I think, is more pro ready than Jaden Blue right now. Although Jaden Blue has shown he's shown flashes, but bro can't stay healthy. He's not in his playbook. Quarterback had to tell him what to do, and that kind of messed up the momentum of his pre-snap reads. Bro got to get in his playbook, and he has to take care of his body a little bit better, or stop being, maybe he's a little soft. I don't know, but whatever it is, I think Phil Maffa has shown throughout the whole totality of preseason, through OTAs and all of that type of stuff. And I'm not the hugest Phil Maffa fan, but I think that he's shown you out of the young guys, he's the more pro-ready back. Jaden Blue has some growing to do. He definitely did. He's going to make this roster, but he definitely has some growing to do as a professional. This isn't me like just trying to dog him out or anything, but it's off of my own observations. Like I said, I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all. I'm not going to lie. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to tell y'all that I'm wrong. Just like I told homeboy, like, Shador didn't play well yesterday. Probably I didn't watch it, but he didn't play well. I was probably the loudest clapper. It is what it is. Dylan Gabriel has shown that he should be higher on the depth chart than him. So I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it 100. Ty Church said, I want a shelf Blue. I mean, I don't know if you could put him on some kind of injury thing or whatnot, but I mean, I'm not sure what they can do, but I think that they need to keep a keen eye on the cut list, on the cut list of running backs for Tuesday. So, we missed out on Brian Robinson Jr. with the 6th round pick, which is what I would have gave up for him. I thought that we missed out on the opportunity there again. And a team like the 49ers, who always seems to have a plethora of backs, the Shanahan system, the Shanahan way, they went out, got another running back. And, it's funny that a team that needs running backs don't always feel like they're okay, but the teams that can really run the football, that do have backs, they always keep backs in the stable. So it is what it is. I feel like we can learn from those teams, but we never do. So let me get back to what Schotty talking about.
Look at it, I don't think it's anything crazy. I don't think it's going to be anything too bad. Up and down, had some good runs. They were doing a nice job with some of the things that we got. We had a screen that was, I've had a chance for some more, but you see the talent, you see the acceleration. Wish we could have got him a little bit more.
Yeah, Lord, no, but
you're
I think
obviously going to
Houston
be cautious in a situation like this in the last preseason.
We're going to talk about that.
Toughness on the touchdown run, breaking the tackle, that's something he has in his bag.
Absolutely. It was great to see. I thought, we were 3 for 3 in the red
tough
zone
on that one, but they were about 3 runs where it wasn't.
The defense for getting that stop there late. But yeah, I mean, he had a great touchdown run. Phil Maffa had a great touchdown run, and with some great surge. I'm not going to say tush push, but with some pushing.
Once Phil Maffa lowered that pad level.
I think we'll get through these next couple of days, but I thought he played really, really well.
Brian Schottenheimer with ESPN. Micah today wasn't wearing his jersey. Everybody else was laying on the table in the middle of the game. Have you had a discussion with him at all of any of that stuff? Does that stuff matter to you?
Yeah, the answer to the question, no. I was calling the game, so no, I don't know any of that stuff. But again, at the end of the day, we'll look at the film and we'll talk to everybody involved, and we'll have a great assessment of how we did both on and off the field.
That he will be on the field week 1 against Eagles.
I do.
John Schotty with The Athletic. Have you seen enough from Ozzie Smith to know that
Hold on. Let me stop.
I think Mozzie played better tonight.
Let me stop something real fast about Micah. And this isn't me taking up for him as much. I do think that you have to be, as a Cowboy and knowing the situation, you got to be a little bit more aware, especially on game day. You got to be a little bit more aware of your surroundings and some of the things that people are trying to do to you and assassinate your character. So laying on that table like that might not have been the best way. But I will tell you, as somebody, y'all about to laugh at me, but it is what it is. I'm going to tell y'all something truthful. I found out that I'm old, y'all. I'm about to be 39 on Friday. So salute to me. I'm going to be 39. I'm closing in on 40. I'm about to be 39 on Friday. This has been a year where my metabolism has just completely slowed down. Like, I mean, I work from home. I'm always on the computer. I have to work out twice as hard. But I also have a youngin that plays football. And so this offseason, I've been taking him in the weight room to show him the ropes. I've been showing him the ropes, how to lift, percentages, all that type of stuff, right? And I was showing him how to deadlift. My ass is never deadlifting again unless it's an easy bar. Damn the deadlift. Yo, if y'all are older, hell, if y'all are young, like deadlifting a whole bunch of weight, like that's dead, bro. Pun intended. Like that's dead, bro. So I was deadlifting 315. And I was just showing him how you got to deadlift heavier weight. Like 315 isn't even the most that I've deadlifted before. Like I mean, I've notoriously done like 400 and stuff like that over. I know that I probably could have deadlifted 500 a couple years ago, but I hadn't deadlifted in a while. And so long story short, I did it one time, 315. It was real easy. And so I showed him. And then I was showing him again. I did another rep. And what did I do that other rep for? I did another rep. And next thing I know, I took 2 steps and my back, I don't know if it slipped a disc or whatever. I need to go to the doctor, chiropractor, or whatever the hell it is. I'm sorry. This is a long drawn out story, but I got to tell y'all like how it is. My back has not been right for 2 months. And anytime that I stand for a long time, I got to sit down. Or I gotta lay down, or Todd Church, my bad. I mean, it's not like I hadn't been in the weight room and lifting and stuff like that. Like I'm still in pretty good shape. I'm not like I'm not like a slob or anything like that. Like I do we were doing cleans. Like I squat a whole bunch. I still squat a whole bunch, but deadlifting, I hadn't deadlifted in a long time like that. Like not anything heavy. So yeah, that's what happened. And my back's like I have to sit down or I have to lay kind of in a fetal position when I am laying down. And so I think bro's back tightened up. That's what I think happened. And bro said, I got to go lay down for a second. That's what I think. That's what it looks like. And they caught him. They caught him on camera. Like, I don't know if he could have gone through the tent or whatever and laid down or whatever the heck it is. I'm not sure. But I think bro said, my back a little tight. I need to go lay down for a second. That's what I think happened. I don't know. Nobody said anything. It just don't make sense for him to go lay down on the table like that. But I know yesterday, I came up with this yesterday because I was at this cookout and I was just like, bro, I'm standing my back. I'm about to go sit in the car. That's what I did. I went to go sit in the car to go eat because there was nowhere to eat. So I'm like, I'm about to go sit in the car in the AC. I'm going to eat and then I'm going to come back. And then at that moment, I was like, that's probably what Micah was doing. He probably laid on that table because that back probably tightened up a little bit. He doing all that standing, you ain't playing, you ain't active. So when you ain't active and you doing a whole bunch of standing, you got a back problem. Like that's probably what happened. I wonder if anybody would ask that question. I think they should ask that question, but that's what I think happened. All right, let's get back to it.
I think, Mozzie's the first one. He talked a couple weeks ago about the consistency and wanting to be more consistent. He's a guy that flashes at times, John, and he does some really good things. I thought he had a couple really good rushes today from the inside 2 technique spot and things like that. But again, we've got a very competitive roster. We've got a very competitive D-line group. So that's why we got to go watch this film and take a look at all of it. I'm not being committal really on anybody. It's not just Mozzie. I mean, it's, why? I'm not going to do that. Don't have to do that. We got a couple days to figure this out. And but I thought there were some flashes tonight. Him playing in a third preseason.
Yeah, hold on. Wait. Juan Cooper said he was just pouting, but good looking out. Now, I don't know if y'all have noticed, bro has had to, he been looking uncomfortable standing. Like, he's either leaning up or something, or he's had a chair. I do think there's some tightness to his back. I didn't at first, but like I said yesterday, thinking about it, I can't stand for too long, or I got to sit down because it tightens up right in the middle, and it feels weird, and it's like a burning sensation. It's like a burning sensation. So I think that's what's happening. I think somebody should ask him that. And if not, then yeah, I could stick to the pouting thing. But from my own perspective, I think his back when you're not running around, you're not stretching or whatever, and you just standing for a long time, that back will tighten up on you real fast for people who have back issues.
Season game shows that we wanted to see some things, so, and he was very comfortable with that, which is great.
And then 2 receivers in particular, Ryan Flanoy, Jalen Brooks. What did you like about them today?
Yeah, I thought Flo ran a couple really good routes. He had a hard inside leverage press corner on a slant that we hit on a 3rd down. I thought that was really, really good. Took a shot on another one, stayed up, got a few yards after the catch, and JB, the go ball. He had a catch like that the other day in the first, I think it was Tuesday night at the Frisco practice in front of the fans, where he kind of laid out to go make a play. And it was great to see both those guys step up. And like we said, that's a very, very competitive room. So we'll go back and we'll talk through a lot of different things and kind of see where the dust settles.
Tommy Yarsh, DallasCowboys.com. You've reached physicality throughout the entire offseason. I know you weren't satisfied the first 2 games. Do you feel like your team was better there tonight?
I felt like that. Step forward for sure. I think anytime you rush for, I think we rushed for 4-point-something yards per carry, and
yeah, we did a good job running the football.
We were playing a little bit.
We also
soft,
were.
But yes, I thought we had 2 good practices, Tommy, on Wednesday or Tuesday and Wednesday that were very physical, and I thought we took a step in the right direction.
All right. I think that there was intent to run the football, and I think that that's why we ran it better. Personally, there was intent. There was flow to the play calling. Shout out to Schotty for really having a better synergy of play calling. We also got the ball first too. Like in the other games, we got it second. So maybe the nerves kind of, the nerves and sitting over there and not being as warm. That happens for play calling as well. So the thing about Schotty is this is his first time, couple games in being a play caller and a head coach. So he's learning as well. Like we've talked about that multiple times on this channel. And that's a grace that I will give him. And I think with getting the ball first, then he can focus on play calling first. And, you got a script. For people that know, you got a script in hand. I think typically 15 plays. So you got a 15-play script. And so it allowed him to kind of get in the rhythm early. I think you could see it in this play calling. You could see the intent to run the football. You could see, Joe used his legs. So I think that was part of it. But there definitely was a change in the play calling. There was a change in Joe's temperament. Using his skill set a little bit better, using the skill set of the guys that were playing a little bit better. And I think that it made a difference.
It's a preseason game, but nonetheless, your first win as an NFL head coach. How does it feel?
It doesn't faze me. I didn't want this one necessarily. I mean, I'll take it for the guys, but my eyes are already on Philadelphia.
Schotty, this is The Athletic. Brian, this preseason, how was it for you in terms of getting the head coaching reps that you were looking for throughout this?
I think it's important. I think you learn the flow,
See, I just talked about that.
of how
Crazy.
things go and kind of where to stand so you can stay involved with, potential challenges. I didn't lose a challenge tonight, so that's a good thing. So I'm still 0 for 2. I guess I'm saving mine for the regular season. I think the officials were, not wanting to have me challenge any, and they really didn't want to deal with that. So, and Raheem didn't either. So, but
trying to get up out of
all in
there,
all,
man. Get that paycheck.
each game has been a little bit more comfortable. I won't lie. I mean, there's things I'm figuring out, the different patterns of when officials come up and talk to you, different timeouts and things like that. But I'm definitely finding my flow of how I can get the information I need as the play caller, but stay involved in what's going on with the defense and make the decisions I have to make. And again, I think that's the best thing for first-time head coaches is you work through some of the kinks in your communication, lines of communication. And I thought, I definitely got more comfortable with some of the ways that we communicate on game day.
What have you learned about how you have to moderate between your responsibilities as the offensive coach and play caller, and B, the defense and everything on that side of the ball as well?
Well, I think that's the job of the head coach, and I think the fact that we have a terrific offensive and defensive staff allows me to where I don't have to look and sit and stare at every different thing that goes on. I get great feedback from different people. I'm on the headset every time that they go over to defense, and constantly in communication with Flus and those guys. And again, it's multitasking, but it's what you do. And I think, again, a lifetime in football definitely makes it a little bit easier for me. I've been on headsets really my entire life, going back to the days of holding my dad's headset, and wearing a headset at Florida for Coach Spurrier. But it's a cool thing to sit there and just hear the flow of the game. I was really, really proud of ourselves today with the takeaways. We really had 3. One got called back because we were, took our helmet off. We got to be better with that. There's a couple of discipline things that we'll address and talk about. But the goal line stand counts as one. And then, of course, it's the first game we didn't turn it over. So I think, again, how does the score get the way it gets? It's because of, the ball.
Good.
Tim Kalishaw, Dallas Morning News. How comfortable are you with kind of the unknown of today's NFL, starters basically not playing, and then specifically the running game? How do you feel like you have a handle
that's
on
us,
what kind of running game you
Pat
have
Mahomes played the other night.
with guys doing as little as they did?
Yeah, again, Tim, I think, a lot of it is the information is gathered through practice. We show a lot in practice. We don't show a lot in preseason. I've made reference to the 7-iron. It was a 7-iron and 8-iron tonight. But I do think that, we have a good identity of what we're going to be, and understand kind of with our players how the scheme fits what we're doing and how we're going to marry things up. That's a huge part of it, Tim, is how you marry your runs and your action passes and things like that. And I think we have a really good feel for that. But in today's day and age, you don't need to necessarily show things. And again, I've talked about it before. It's a philosophy. A lot of guys want to play their guys, and that's fine. But again, I'd like to be in a controlled environment, going against our defense and having them go against us, and not showing the world kind of who we're going to be.
See, that's kind of one of my issues. And I think that maybe it is a philosophical difference. It is. You know what I'm saying? Like Pete Carroll. So I think that a lot of guys, if you look at it, the people who have won Super Bowls, Schotty ain't won no Super Bowl, bro. Your daddy ain't won no Super Bowl. So let's start there. But I look at guys who have won Super Bowls that are current coaches right now. They're all about building something that you get good at, and it doesn't matter if the whole world knows it. You're going to know that this is what we're going to do. And I know that, I'm going to say this, Kyle Shanahan, he has not won one as a head coach. He actually screwed the pooch with Dan Quinn and those guys with Atlanta, giving up big leads. But he's found himself as a play caller in that big game 3 times. And you look at what they did in the trade market a couple of days ago, going to get Brian Robinson Jr. You know that's a team that wants to run the football. They have to effectively run the football because they're going to play action off of it. They're going to, that's what creates their flow. Their run creates the flow. That's what Schotty talks about all the time. Everything that he's talking about is what Kyle Shanahan does. It's what Sean McVay does. It's what I'm trying to think. Not so much Andy Reid, but he played his guy. You know what I'm saying? And so you look at Philadelphia. Philadelphia's going to run the football. Like, I don't think that it's just this crazy shock factor thing. Like, it's not college football. You know what I'm saying? Where in college football, you don't have scrimmages with other teams. You kind of keep things within practice, and then you kind of show them on Saturdays. His philosophical approach sounds better for college than it does for the pros. Like in the pros, like, bro, your scheme is your scheme. You know what I'm saying? And I think that he feels like because this is the first time and people don't understand what it is I'm going to do. Like, you called plays before, bro. So they have an idea. Like, my thing is, whatever you're great at, people are going to know what you're great at anyway, and it's their job to stop it. I think that this makes him sound less confident in what it is that he can do or what they can do by saying, I don't want to show too much. Like, you could be vanilla, still have a philosophy, and still carry it out. Friday, I liked what I saw. And guess what? All right, let's say you want to keep things vanilla. You don't want to show too much. You can run inside zone 80 million times, and inside zone is going to look different every time just based on the alignment, based on who the back is, what the vision is, what your keys are. Like, you could run inside zone 80 different times. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the Rams did that. You can run inside zone, outside zone. Guess what? Those principles don't change. Like, everybody runs inside zone, outside zone. Everybody runs those things. But you can still, it's all about the intent. Do we have the intention of running the ball? Like, I don't understand how, like, maybe some vanilla concepts that everybody runs, like running those things, like, takes away the shock factor. That's why, like, the regular person's gonna believe the type of stuff that he's talking about. But for me, I'm gonna question it and say, yeah, I don't know, bro. Like, and when you call plays, Russell Wilson played in Seattle. So Pete Carroll won the Super Bowl, and Pete Carroll had his guys playing. I'm just saying, Super Bowl guys don't give a damn. Guy who don't got a Super Bowl, this is what he's telling you.
Coach Sydney Staples, D210 Sports. How much is a player peaking here at the end of preseason? How much does that weigh on you and move the needle at all when you're making that initial 53-man roster?
It's part of it. I think you see trends with players all the time, especially young players, because they're learning, they're trying to figure things out in the beginning, then they're out in Oxnard and they're going through practice and the pace is different and the pads come on and that gets a little bit different. But, this is a cumulative thing where we go back and from the minute they got here,
also, man,
young
subscribe
players,
to the channel.
and even new players. From the minute they got here, we've been evaluating them, and we've been evaluating them as players, as people. How they process information, how they handle information overload, how they take information from the meeting room to the field. And so the preseason is one of those tools that we use to evaluate, but we're not going to, look at tonight's game and say, okay, this has extra weight. It doesn't. We're going to go back and make the decisions based on, okay, let's go back to OTA 1. Let's go back to training camp practice 5. Let's go against the scrimmage against the Rams. And did this player continue to show up and do things the right way? I think things got sloppy late. We need to look at that, because, again, you can't shoot yourselves in the foot and win in this league. You can't have the discipline penalties that we have, and we'll address those.
Noah? Dallas. Coach, we caught up with your family before the game. Your mom specifically, very proud of you. What does that mean to have her in attendance and kind of a full circle moment to be on the field today?
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I think, hey, look, at the end of the day, I think she's proud of me no matter what.
They're going to ask all these emotional ass questions.
She was proud of me last week when we lost. She was proud of me the week before when we lost. She was proud of me when I got fired in Seattle. But look, I'm all about family. And I think, my family is everything to me. I've talked to you guys about it before. To me, it's three things: my faith, my family, and football. And again, having them around and supporting me is something so special for me. And what makes it even better is she gets it. She's sat in stadiums for really over probably 50 years. And so she gets it. So she's a great sounding board, just like my wife is. And I'm blessed to have two people like my wife and my mom that I can talk to about not just football, but life.
You ever get used to Brandon Aubrey?
Well,
hey, bro,
it's kind of a weapon. When I said to Joe,
hey,
Joe, we basically need about 10 yards to get in the field goal range. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah. So no, you really don't. But it's great to get him that kick in the preseason. And again, it's cool to come out in the second half and do the double dip, which we've talked about.
Hey, if y'all haven't already, man, hit that like button, bro. Hit the like button. Let everybody know that we out here, that we talking Cowboys football. We going to be candid. You know what I'm saying? I threw the hat on for y'all. I should take the hat off, though, because I ain't got no super chats yet. You know what I'm saying? I told Tuck, and this is probably what I'm going to do moving forward. I'm probably going to wear a regular hat, like one of my regular hats or whatever. And then until I get that first super chat or whatnot, you know what I'm saying? This is going to be the money hat right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that everybody loved the hat and stuff like that, but at the same time, though, like we can't make this something that where it's like we get too used to it. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I started off as a prank. Like it seemed like everybody that put the hat on to play ball, they get paid. So that's what we gonna do on this channel. You know what I'm saying? Pay me like Ferg, y'all. Pay me like Ferg. I'm just messing with y'all, man. But hit that like button, though. That's the free currency right there. And that might be what it is, man. If we don't hit a certain like level, then the hat ain't going on. You know what I'm saying? The hat ain't going on. But hit that like button.
Where you execute the 2-minute drive, you get in the field goal range, you get the kick, and then we talked about at halftime that we got the ball first, and that was part of the plan. We thought we could start fast by deferring and putting the defense out there, and we did that. And then to be able to double dip in the second half was good to see.
Third down, were you thinking field goal at that point, or you were just trying to, I know you always think
let's
ahead.
Get the messages
I
up,
think we got into a little bit of a longer situation. I don't remember it exactly, Calvin, but at one point it was kind of more with the time and stuff. We were kind of playing for the field goal, and I thought Joe did a nice job managing that and handling that. And got a drop. I remember on the slant. I think Trayshawn had a drop that he'd love to have back that we were trying to get up there and kind of clock it, but. Again, I thought Joe did some really nice things tonight. I'm excited to watch the film, and we're tough graders when it comes to quarterbacks. But I thought he looked, like I said, way more comfortable tonight.
Sanders is healthy? Because I noticed he didn't.
Yeah, he got dinged up a little bit on his shoulder, but I think he's fine. Correct.
Brian, on blue, opening kickoff, he makes a tackle. For
if you got a wrench,
man,
I don't know how much special teams he played. Out.
Does that
he waited 5 minutes to
remind me? But I think he had a good pass protection on that first drive as well. Is that the stuff that stands out more to you guys when you're thinking of how you put in your roster?
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, we know he can run. We've all seen him run. I think he's got some work to do on the kick return stuff. Almost got us a safety on that one. But, so again, I screw stuff up all the time. So I think, but yeah, he did. He came across on a blitz. They were in a little diamond front, and so he had to come across. Great job on the blitz pickup. Saw the tackle on special teams. So yeah, when you see that stuff for a young player like that to do things he's never done, that gets you excited as a coach.
The end of half scenario, all calling the timeouts leading into that, and obviously having the timeout in your pocket to have the field open to you. Is that the stuff you're going back and forth with Feeder on during that?
Yeah. I mean, Ryan Feeder, he does not get enough credit. He has obviously been doing it for a long time with Mike. And,
there we go.
Again, going back to Green Bay. But what I love about Feeder is, he's just so calm, and he's I get worked up a little bit on the sidelines. I'm an emotional guy. I like energy and juice, but he's got the ability when I hear his very soft and subtle tone, it's very relaxing for me. So he does a great job. And again, we talk about it all the time. I mean, we practice those things, and practice is supposed to make it perfect. It's not always perfect, but I do think that we took a positive step in that direction tonight.
Hilton Henderson, Gilmer Mirror. Brian, We've already talked about all the good things that you did. You got a lot of tape to look at. Do you feel like the performances of some of these guys that were on the bubble tonight, this did more to help you make that decision, or does it just make it tougher with the cut down coming Tuesday?
I think it's going to be tough. I really do. I think it's going to be tough. Why? Because I think we're a talented roster and we've got some really, well, I would say, very competitive position battles. And there's numbers, and, when you're looking at a 53-man roster, you're like, man.
Hold on. We had numbers, and that's kind of what my issue was. Also, hit that like button. My man said we got 22 likes, and everybody's still sleeping. So hit that like button. I kind of felt that was my issue. I kind of felt like how we called the game on Friday is how we should have called the other two games as well, just depending on the type of things that we needed to see. The things that we needed to see is, can we run the ball with the running backs that we have in that room? Number one, can we stop the run? So running and stopping the run kind of go hand. Give me all right. Audio went out. My bad. I don't know what the last thing you heard was, but like I kind of feel like imposing the will. I think running the ball and stopping the run, I think they go hand in hand. And with that, like against the Rams and the Ravens, we stopped the run. We stopped it early on the first possessions, and then we went to go throwing the ball. You said it sounds muffled? Hold on. Give me 1 sec. Let me fix it. Hello. Let me know if it still sounds muffled. I might have to just, is it still muffled? Or are we good? Okay. Since I think that it went muffled because once the mic went out, then I had to switch to the laptop. And then we, you know what I'm saying? Then it went back to the regular microphone. So we're good to go. So I think that it goes hand in hand. I think that you can still see the things that you want to see by running the football and passing. And on Friday, we still were able to see, we still was able to see Joe Milton do the things that we wanted to see Joe Milton do, but we had the intent. And it's just like with all of these running backs, now it's a murky room and we still have questions. Like we, how do I say it? We still like Maffa, for example. We saw more of Maffa and probably Malik Davis than we saw of Jaden Blue. And that's not Jaden Blue's fault. But Deuce Vaughn played in those preseason games. And I don't think that we got a fair evaluation of Deuce Vaughn. I think that it was messed up how we handled him in these 3 games. He's probably going to get cut because of it. But I understand it. But we saw more film. And maybe they look at it like we know who Deuce is more, which still, I mean, maybe you get him a job somewhere else or something like that. You can't keep holding the kid hostage if you don't want to use him. And I thought that he did well early on in that game on Friday. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is we didn't see Williams. We didn't see Williams in preseason. And that to me bothers me. He's the only back we didn't see. And I don't think Williams is that good to not see him to where, we holding him out because he just, you know what I'm saying? He a baller. Like we signed him as a free agent, but we know who he is. Y'all don't know who he is. There were question marks. That's why Denver cut him. Y'all don't know who he is based off of practice. And quite frankly, Joe Milton was dominating more in practice than Williams was at running back. And you still wanted to see what he had. So why wouldn't you want to see what Williams has? I mean, even if it's just one series. Miles Sanders had to play. And quite frankly, him playing probably messed his stock up more. And I asked the question, how is that fair? How is that a fair competition? Appreciate you, Juan Cooper. Appreciate you for the $10 super chat, my guy. We know where our holes are at RB1, One Tech, Nickel Corner. Every year our holes come back to haunt us. And guess what? It's going to come to haunt us next year too when we don't touch those areas. And I think that that's an area in scouting that we just don't care about. I think we just don't care about it. Kelvin Hicks said Williams protected by the front office. Yeah, I think so because they paid him $3 million. I'm just going to tell y'all, $3 million ain't shit when it comes to paying a running back. $3 million ain't shit, and they making it seem like that's money. They making it seem like that's money. Guess what? Brian Robinson Jr. was set to make $3 million, and y'all couldn't give up a 6th round pick for that. Money that we got sitting in the cap. Got like $30 million sitting in the cap. I'm going to tell y'all something about that situation. I'm going to let him finish because he only got like 2 more minutes. But they got a plan for that money that's sitting in the cap. So,
okay, where are you going to fit these guys? And there were some guys that I thought stepped up tonight that made a great statement saying what they wanted to do. Elijah Clark's a guy that's missed some time, and he stepped up and did some great things tonight.
Yes, so JV boy.
It's supposed to be hard.
Yeah.
And it's supposed
definitely
to be,
stood out.
Require very long conversations and hard conversations and back and forth. And this is why you don't hire yes men on your staff. You want people that'll be like, hey, I don't see it that way.
Bro, you the yes man.
And those are the same type of conversation we have with Will
you the
and
yes
Steven
man,
and Jerry.
Bro. What you talking about?
And then we make a decision that's in the best interest of the Cowboys.
Party. One more. I'm sorry. One more. My apologies. I'm sorry. The plan for Booker was not to play tonight.
Correct.
And as you went on, you decided not to play Thomas tonight. That was also part of the plan too.
Correct.
Okay. Make sure.
Yep. He did get taken out on one of the there was a gunner that got booked, but he's fine. So he did have contact tonight. Yeah, he had some contact.
Who's coming in the driveway?
All right, so we done. We done with that portion. All right, so yeah, y'all get to get this mean mug, this ugly mug right here. Appreciate y'all for watching, man. I really do. There's something that I want to talk about. We're gonna talk about Micah a little bit. And so I talked about the money that we have sitting in the cap. We got we got some money sitting, and let me see if I can find it. But we got a lot of money sitting in the cap. And I know that you get to carry it over for the next year and stuff like that. So I think I figured out why we have not spent the money that we're spending. Has nothing to do with it has nothing to do with extending and all that type of stuff. All right, we got 2025 cap space. Let's see. All right, yeah, we got 31 million. Damn, we got 31 million. So I'm gonna show y'all real fast. Let's see. Share. We're gonna stop the screen. We're gonna share. Give me 1 second, y'all. Appreciate y'all patience. All right, let me know that y'all can see it or whatever, right? All right, cool. So we're sitting at $31.5 million. Right? Y'all see that, right? Everybody sees this, correct? So when we extend contracts, that number goes up. And then the next year, it's the cap. And then there's the TV deals that go. So every year after that, depending on the TV deal, depending on how much money they make, the salary cap goes up. The salary cap went up. I forget how much it went up this year, but it went up a lot. So you got to factor that in when you're getting your contracts done and stuff like that. So they're sitting here with $31.5 million in cap space. And so they'll sit here and they'll lie to you and tell you, well, we gotta divvy up the pie and we gotta do this and we gotta do that. They'll make you think that signing a player dips into that 31.5 million. When it doesn't, it actually extends that amount. And later on down the line, you know what I'm saying, as the contracts align and stuff like that, that's more of where your hits hit, or that's more of where your hits come into play. So they'll make you think that signing these guys that you dipping into that 31.5, which is crazy because it's like there are things like overthecap.com that we're looking at right now, to where it's like we have more information at our fingertips than we've ever had. We have more information at our fingertips. So, but the rule of thumb is you get to carry over money. You get to carry over money to the next year. So I think this 31.5 is going to account for them franchise tagging Micah, is what I think. And I think that they probably plan on franchising him the next year as well. So what I mean by all this is I think that this is a plan. I think that this is a plan, that this is their backup plan in case they can't get a deal done with him. They're keeping that money so that they can account for it. But remember, this 31.5 is going to carry over into whatever the next number is. So that's why they keep saying, that's why, like, I had to think about it. I'm just saying to myself, it would behoove them to sign Micah to have it more solidified so they can move the cap around a little bit more. But that's the reason they haven't spent no money. See, I think that it's playing both sides. I think that if they built in a buffer in case they got to franchise him twice. That's why they're not bringing nobody in. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why they're not bringing nobody in. That's why they're not going out to sign these guys or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? They trying to keep this extra buffer right here so they can hold him in place because they know they're going to have to pay him money. Like, I had to really think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, Juan Cooper says, wow, that makes so much sense. Like, it do. You know what I'm saying? So they playing the game as well. Me personally, yeah, like JV Boy says, sign him, adds 15 million to the salary cap. And my thing is, hold on, I'm gonna hold that back up here. I'm gonna hold this back up here. They don't intend on spending no more money. They're not going to. You get what I'm saying? They're not going to. So they don't care about what it extends. They don't care about that. They're going to hold him in place to try and get the deal that they actually want. So I get it. It's both sides to this. Where to me, I kind of feel like it would behoove you more to sign him so you can manipulate it down the line and then bring people in. And so this is the thing that they'll tell you. They tell people, we can't bring nobody in. There ain't, you know what I'm saying, or we can't sign people because there's something to the pie and all of this type of stuff. The numbers are right here. The numbers tell you. And they're in a way better situation to sign him and then later on down the line bring other people in. That's not their intent. They're not going to do that. The intent is they going to hold people and sign people to cheap deals, and they want people. I don't know if y'all remember, like when Diddy said, I like when you scratching and clawing, daddy, or something like that. I forget what the clip is, but I like when you scratching and clawing for shit, daddy. I forget what it was. Pause, no Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Don't kill me, Diddy, folks. But I think they like their people scratching and clawing for their money so they can manipulate them to do whatever it is that they want. That's what it is. DC Boys said my bad. Hold on. He doesn't have to sign the tag, right? And that's kind of what it is. They like, if you want to retire, then go ahead and retire, but we got your rights. We got your rights. So, yeah. I think that that's the plan. I think they're keeping that buffer in there to handle his whatever the franchise tag is going to be. So let me look at this, right? Because I think it's the average of the top 10 at his position. It's the average of the top 10 at his position. So we don't know what he's going to do this year, which is kind of messed up because they could throw him back and have him play a certain number of linebacker reps, and then they could try and say that he's a linebacker if they do it that way. I don't think that that's what they're going to do. But let me Google what the franchise tag for edges 2025 value. All right. So the non-exclusive franchise tag in 2025 is 25.4 million, and the transition tag is $22.7 million. So that's their leverage, guys. Them keeping that salary cap space right there is their leverage to try and hold Micah to the deal that they want to get him to. Y'all remember where y'all heard this first, bro. It is a game. Game of Jones. Not Game of Thrones, but Game of Jones. That's why they're keeping that money there. They've had money to go out there and get people. But damn. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So I thought about that yesterday, man. And whenever I think about stuff and I go live or whatnot, like, keep in mind, like, I've thought about it. I'm not just going to spitball nothing. I'm not going to throw y'all nothing crazy. And so JV B-Ball says Micah wants 40 plus million. And it's like, if they tag him, I don't know what it'll go up to next year, if it goes up to 30 or whatever. Just keep in mind, though, it'll be all guaranteed. It'll be all guaranteed. And then, you know, we've been seeing a rumor out there that Micah or that Micah turned down, I think, a $200 million contract with, I think 140 of it was guaranteed or something like that. I don't know how true that is. And then keep in mind this too. All money ain't good money. All money ain't good money. And I've been trying to tell people this. With negotiations, there's more than just money and years. I negotiate for a living. I can't tell you exactly what it is that I do, what my job is. Like, hell, my job knows that I have this YouTube. So if I give away too much, I'll probably get fired from my regular job. But just know that over my, how old am I now? 39. When did I start? So in my 14 years of my profession, I've negotiated over $100 million in contracts, right? It could be hundreds. I don't know. I've never tallied it up. I just know that it's over 100 million. So in that time frame, I kind of know what I'm talking about. I have not negotiated a sports contract, so I won't sit here and say, but I did look this up. I looked up and saw if indemnity, these are terms, so go look them up if you get a chance. Indemnity and intellectual property. I looked up to see if those things are in sports contracts, and they are. So I think that that's important because indemnity is kind of relating to who handles, like, it's like insurance and who's at fault and who pays and stuff like that. And intellectual property is more about branding and the product and who owns the product and this and that and stuff like that. So intellectual property is important because Micah signed that deal to have the podcast. You get what I'm saying? So he signed that deal to have the podcast. So you don't know if there's a pushback on that, the intellectual property of who Micah Parsons is. You don't know if the language is crafted to where they own all the intellectual property of what is Micah Parsons as and if that conflicts with any language that goes with this contract of the podcast or any of his branding. See, people just look at money and years and think that, oh, he turned that down. It might be something along like injuries and how you got to handle like trainers and all that type of stuff. Same thing that's happening with Trayvon. Maybe they threw something in, maybe they didn't. I'm not privy to that type of language when it comes to being an agent. I'm not an agent. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just somebody that handles contract negotiations for a company out there. And I'm just telling you, there's more than just money and years. I said this on the tweet. If you don't understand things like indemnity and intellectual property, you can't tell Micah just sign a deal or handle it yourself. it doesn't matter like what type of handshake deal was covered in that suite, how long they talked for. There's language and terms that got to go in that contract, and Micah is represented by an agent, and that agent, they're the ones that got to go over those terms and red lines and all of that type of stuff, no matter what. And I did speak to an NFL agent on this, and hopefully I can get him on the channel. But I asked him specifically, can players and team officials talk to each other or negotiate without the agent? And so what was explained to me was they can negotiate. So Micah and Jerry can come up with something if that's what the player wants to do. But the moment that the player wants his representation involved in the negotiations, then the organization have to abide by that. Jerry in the public media, now I don't know what's going on behind, but in the public media, he's giving y'all the perception that he ain't dealing with no agent. Well, in terms, he has to deal with that agent, or else it's in, you know what I'm saying, the CBA, you know what I'm saying? So it's in breach of that. And that's kind of where, for me, it's like, if that's real, I think that the next CBA go around, but that's not for another 5 years, but they're going to have to discuss that, because I think that it's setting a very dangerous precedent. You know what I'm saying? I think it's setting a very dangerous precedent in negotiating with players if owners are able to strong arm players that way, to where I'm not dealing with your agent. And it's like, they got lawyers and stuff to deal with their stuff all the time. I think it was Clarence Hill that said it, or I don't know if it was James Slater. But when Jerry had that Netflix documentary, you think Jerry ain't had no representation in there with him, or looking over his contracts and stuff to make sure that all of the I's were dotted and the T's were crossed? I'm pretty sure. Matter of fact, I'll go even deeper and I'll go personal. I know for a fact when Jerry had that paternity case or that suit, yeah, there was a contract in with the mother of that daughter in which they were saying that Jerry was breaching and Jerry was saying that they was breaching. You think Jerry did that on his own? Hell no. He had his counsel there, because it was very critical. When you're dealing with a high contract, a high complex contract that they're dealing with right now, you got to have your representation in there. If that's what you want, if you feel like you don't want to get taken advantage of. That's why the rules were set in place. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little weird to me that this is the avenue that they're going. But looking at Jerry and Micah's mom the other day and all that type of stuff, this could be for play. They might be taking off. This might actually be Jerry saving face out there, because Micah does have a back injury, and this is taken away from that as he gets healthy. Maybe it's a little gamesmanship. I don't know, but off of what we know and what has been put out there, I can only go off of that. And to me, you know what I'm saying, this negotiation situation, you know, his agent has to be present for him, whether they like it or not. Whether they like it or not, your agent. No, can Micah fire his agent? Yeah, he can. But I don't know that you want to fire a good agent that last year was able to do $1 billion in contracts for people. And I know that a lot of people like to bring in the T. Higgins situation, but the Bengals and their negotiations is a dumpster fire. I ain't gonna be one that's gonna back a situation to where it's like I'm gonna look over there and say, oh, that's a sample exercise, where I ain't gonna look at that as the precedent. Let's fire him, when dude did over $1 billion in contracts for players last year, and he's George Pickens' agent. So I think they need to create a good relationship with him if they want to keep George Pickens in the future. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of how I feel about it. But I think that it might be for TV as I'm thinking about it now. But if it's not for TV, I think the Cowboys have created a buffer for themselves by not spending no money and having $31.5 million sitting around. So they might have that money sitting around so they can sign some more players in the future and to buffer that whole franchise tag situation. So that's kind of what I wanted to get off my chest today. You know, hit that like button if you haven't hit that like button. I'm going to get ready to, you know, it's Sunday. I'm getting ready to enjoy the rest of the day. I appreciate everybody. I really do. I appreciate everybody for being here today. If you haven't, hit that like button. If you learned something today, hit that like button. If you like the Cowboys hat, hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? If you know, you want to leave some comments, that works as well. You know, I just know that hopefully this Cowboys team can put some things together. Hopefully we can be better as a whole. We need to be better as an organization, as some players, as coaching, as fans too. We all got to be better. We all can get better at something. Let's get 1% better today, y'all. Appreciate y'all, man. Your boy is out. Peace.
I can't feel the pain, I'm numb. All you say, to keep it real and stay 100 through the rain. I can feel there's something missing from your face. So keep it real and stay 100 in your veins. Put me in these boxes, still I'm trying to break away. I just roll it up and down some liquor for my pain. Thoughts inside my head, it's nightmares instead of some dreams. I've been trying to hold on to everything from the seams. Try to get it by any means. It's no accepting defeat with all this pressure that's on me. Trusting whenever I breathe, cause everything is on me. If everybody is down, I gotta pick up all the pieces. Yeah, I can't fall, cause I do it for my dog, so she can make it farther. Ain't worry about your comments, cause I believe in karma. Time for your bull.